Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be discussing the various Puzzle & Dragons abbreviations, shorthands, terminology, and lingo that is floating around. So, as with any game that is large and developed, the fan base creates their own kind of lingo to help streamline thoughts and basically information. And it is convenient because sometimes it can be difficult to type out long-winded thoughts, and abbreviations are helpful. However, a lot of players who are, say, newer or just don't explore the various internet mediums out there may not be familiar with these terms. So with this guide, it will hopefully showcase the more popular terminologies and give you a bit of insight as to what people are actually saying. So this video obviously can only be recorded once, so if changes are made to the guide, they won't be reflected in the video. So always make sure you check the guide as well, and it's going to be in the link in the YouTube description down below, so take a look there. So these are the basic abbreviations that are related to magic stones. So if someone says stones, they're basically referring to the magic stones. It can be used in past tense to say you stoned a dungeon, basically meaning you paid one magic stone to continue. Some sort of thing like that is pretty straightforward. IAP is basically in-app purchases and refers to someone who purchases the magic stones with real-life money. So obviously you can be like IAP friendly or IAP heavy, IAP light, so on and so forth. Like, it's just a way to express that you use real-life money to purchase magic stones. On the other side, F2P or non-IAP is basically someone who's free to play. They don't purchase magic stones and they don't basically they don't get magic stones, they only acquire them passively whenever events occur or they clear dungeons, so on and so forth. And lastly, a whale or any other type of amphibious animal is basically a term to describe someone who spends a lot of money on the game. Basically whale being at the top and various other forms like say shrimp or dolphin. Like as you grow in size, you spend more and more. It's just slang essentially. There's no definitive number what makes you a whale or a shrimp, so on and so forth. So, Godfest related. So, a GF is a Godfest, not to be mistaken with a girlfriend. Very important distinction you should make. And PCGF is Player's Choice Godfest. And this is a special Godfest in which the players or fan base gets to actually vote for what they want featured in said Godfest. So, it's a good time to obviously have your voice heard. It usually features the most popular monsters, but as I say all the time, I do not know when this is going to occur, so you don't need to ask me. GFE is Godfest exclusives, and those are monsters that can only be rolled during Godfests because they're exclusive to them. 4 times Godfest exclusives or any other number indicates the higher chances of a Godfest card being rolled. If it was, say, a 5 times Godfest exclusive event, those Godfest cards are more likely to be rolled. If it's 1 times, those are significantly lower. So now when you see, say, the Gung Ho official announcements, you can kind of gain a better understanding of what Godfest exclusive is featured at a higher rate. Next is a Pantheon, and Pantheon essentially refers to the set of 5 monsters in a particular group. So for instance, the Indian 2 Pantheon has the Krishna, Sarasvati, Vishnu, Ganesha, and Durga. So that basically is a way to summarize those 5 names in one brief thought. And finally, there's a Troll Gold. Basically, it's a gold egg that comes out, and it's something that is completely worthless. Usually those are silver eggs that came evolved, so you're usually sad with those. Next is the monster basics. There is HP, which is hit points or the health, basically indicates how healthy your monster is and your health bar in game. ATK is attack, so the attack value of your monster, so higher attack is more damage. RCV is recovery, basically how much health you restore from matching a heart combo. Weighted stats are a special sum of the HP, the attack, and the recovery of a monster all together to kind of give you a general indication of how well statted a monster is. So higher weighted stats means the monster is a bit stronger. Plus 297 refers to having a monster with all the plus eggs they can possibly hold. They have 99 in each category for a total of 297. Hypermax is a monster that is max plus, so 297, they're max leveled, they're max awakened, and they're all skilled up. So basically it's just a way to refer that the monster's kind of ready to go, they're strong. And Pentamax is basically a monster that's Hypermax, but with 5 latent awakenings. Those 5 latent awakenings vary, so it's kind of misleading. You say Pentamax, well, what do they have? You don't know, you have to take a look anyways. So I tried to list like the more popular monsters. There may be some more I may have missed, so please let me know if I have in this section here. So Radra is basically Raw Dragon. XM is Xiang Mei. YY is Yao Yu. Ragdra is Ragnarok Dragon. I know Raw Dragon and Ragnarok Dragon can be confusing, so be careful which one it is. A system is a team that has multiple haste actives. Basically, you have 4 haste actives with a 7-turn cooldown. It allows you to loop the site your skills repeatedly, so you can charge up actives faster. If you want more information, you should click here to read that article. L/D Kali is basically light or dark Kali. Rodin, Grodin, Bloden sounds weird to say and refers to red Odin, green Odin, and blue Odin. Ranya, Blanya, Grania is the red, blue, and green Sonya. L Meta is Light Metatron, and she's kind of a running joke in the community because she's received so many overwhelming buffs to herself that she is not even in the meta. ALB is Awoken Liu Bei. He's basically the most glorious push-button team in the world. And Dios is Zeus Dios, who is the staple for that Awoken Liu Bei team. M Zeus, M Athena, M Hera are the machine forms of Zeus, Athena, and Hera, respectively. Thoria is short for Saria Thor teams, which is kind of outdated at this point. B Miru is Beach Miru. Farmable indicates that a monster drops from a dungeon, so everyone is able to acquire it if they're capable of clearing the dungeon. A rainbow team is a team that covers multiple different elements and requires multiple different elements to activate. So for instance, Raw Dragon is a very good example of a rainbow team because he requires fire, water, wood, light, dark, and heal orbs to activate. So all 6 of the elements. He covers the whole rainbow. A Heart Cross team is a team that relies on making a cross of hearts, so exactly 5 heart orbs to trigger the defensive multiplier as well as offensive multiplier. 501E is basically 5 orbs, 1 enhanced, and that's a playstyle in which the team is reliant on matching exactly 5 connected orbs with at least 1 being enhanced. Sometimes that match itself is called a fireworks, and it's good to know. So like cards like Sumire, Awoken Yomi, Yomi Dragon, so on and so forth are all those 5 orb 1 enhanced leaders. A tank team is a team who has augmented health and recovery, which allows them to become more durable and withstand hits that other teams may not be able to. And finally, utility is a term that broadly defines like defensive or niche actives. Basically, it's actives that help you out but don't necessarily improve your offensive capabilities. It helps your survivability and your defensive abilities. Next are basically awakenings related, and it's mostly just the shortened forms of them. So SB is your skill boost, SBR is skill bind resist, TE is time extend, TPA is 2-prong attack, OE is orb enhance, and it's for the respective colors. So like orb enhances on, say, a Krishna team are referring to the fire orb enhances. Rows are the row enhances for those respective colors. So Awoken Lucifer teams are row based, but they're using dark because that's the color they focus on. Killers are basically special awakenings that allow one monster in particular to deal 3 times the normal damage to that particular type of boss. So if they have God Killer and you're fighting, say, a Kali in Arena, you actually deal 3 times damage because of their God typing. Rainbow Resist is basically a monster that has 1% of each of the color latent resist awakenings inherited. So they have all the colors of the rainbow and they resist 1% of each color. So that allows you to survive 100% gravity-based attack if they are not found. And finally, SDR is skill delay resist latent awakenings, and those basically protect you against your skills being delayed. So these are kind of just the overall dungeon terminology, because when you're playing, you need to like obviously abbreviate and streamline the information you need to convey to other people or your partner, for instance. So a cross refers to a heart cross. It doesn't mean you're actually angry. A preempt is basically a preemptive ability done by a boss. This means that this ability or attack goes before you're actually able to make your turn, so just be aware of those because they can be lethal. Orb trolling refers to a board that's unable to be activated. It could be just heavily skewed to one color, or it could be a board for, say, Raw Dragon that's missing 1 or 2 elements so you can't fully activate. Orb fatigue refers to using a similar active repeatedly over and over again. So for instance, say you have a heart to fire active on multiple cards and you repeatedly use that throughout the dungeon, you might run out of those heart orbs because, like, say you clear the board, not enough fall down to replace the ones that just got used, so subsequent active usage may have less value going forward. An absorb is an absorption mechanic by a boss. It could either be based on a particular element. So it's like a dark absorb absorbs all dark damage dealt to it, or exceeding a certain threshold. So for instance, Sop Debt absorbs 200,000 damage and above. So if you hit above 200,000 damage, it heals her instead of dealing damage. A combo shield is similar to the absorption mechanic, except it can be bypassed by making a certain amount of combos. So say the combo shield on Zeus Stratios, it forces you to make at least 6 or more combos or you heal him. So obviously heart cross teams or row based teams will struggle more by comparison. Shielding or damage mitigation refers to an active that helps reduce the incoming damage so you survive a larger attack. They are useful for basically staying alive. Gung Troll is when something truly outrageous happens, like you say you just got gung trolled by the mechanics in a dungeon. A button team is teams that can defeat an entire dungeon by basically pressing buttons. You basically push the button and it kills the floor. It's basically only used in co-op and is used to hasten up the process of farming certain elements in the game. A Guerrilla Dungeon is a way to describe like those limited hourly dungeons, like basically say pre-draw infestation, tan infestation, basically any of those types of infestations. Maybe Gung Ho needs to clean out things. But the point being is these infestation style dungeons last for an hour and it rotates based on every day as well as the group that you are assigned to. And finally, bi or weekly dungeons are basically dungeons that provide skill ups for various monsters that last for a set duration of time. They're much more accessible than Guerrilla Dungeons. And these are kind of just miscellaneous terms I couldn't find a good category for. So LF is looking for, you're basically looking for a particular, say, leader, a team, a dungeon, so on and so forth. A BF is a best friend, not to be mistaken with a boyfriend. STTD is Star Treasure Thieves Den, or simply Star Den. And it's basically the dungeon that allows you to acquire 10 plus eggs per run, so it's the most efficient place to acquire plus eggs. OT is off topic. Basically, if you're making a post and it's not necessarily 100% Puzzle and Dragons related, it's good to lead with OT to let everyone else know that. WIP is a work in progress. It's usually referred to like on the forums when someone posts, say, a guide, and they say WIP to indicate that it's mostly completed, but they want input as well. And OP is overpowered. Basically, something that's like truly strong and amazing, you might refer to as being OP. So, in conclusion, there's lots of terms and abbreviations in Puzzle & Dragons. This list may not necessarily be fully exhaustive, so check the link in the description below in case changes are made. If you feel like I've missed anything that's truly important, leave a comment below and I can incorporate it accordingly. So, have a mantastic day and happy puzzling!